Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for November 10th through 14th, 2025. I have a little bit of a cold, so I don't think I sound that bad, but you never sound that bad in your own head.
You sound
fine. Feel like fuzzy. So we have a few Port Charles pipelines from Miranda. Hi, ladies. I hope you are doing well. I love listening to your podcast and watching GH while I'm breastfeeding my son, AJ.
Aww.
Just a happy accident that his nickname is also a character from GH. Love the podcast and learning more about the show's history. I've recently found some clips of Jason and AJ's storyline where Jason loses his memories. So I've been watching them for the first time since it happened before my time watching the show. I sincerely hope that my little AJ grows up to be a better adult than AJ on GH. We do too. We do too, girl. Regarding Maxie and Nathan and the Spinelli of it all, I like Maxie and Spinelli, but Maxie and Nathan are better together, in my opinion. I love where this story is going and completely agree with Lulu's assessment that they were the love of each other's lives. Spinelli is more like comic relief on the show now, and I'm not as much of a fan as I used to be. That's fair. They don't really have him involved.
Right.
Spinelli doesn't have his own. So remember, I liked the social dating stuff that he had going on. Like, that was interesting that he was getting all of that going. So I can understand that, but they finally got together.
I guess it'll depend on how Nathan is moving forward. If he starts being creepy, then no. I don't want her to fall in love with him again and break up her relationship with Spinelli just to find out that he's evil so-and-so.
Right, yes. And I don't want it where she only falls in love with him because she has amnesia coming out of the coma.
Yes.
Like, that's going to be frustrating because then she's going to be hurting the kids. She's
right, exactly. It's not just their love story anymore. You got 3 kids involved in this.
Yeah, let's have it be like when Sam had to choose between Drew and Jason. And she tried to stick through with Drew, and she just couldn't stay away from Jason. But let's just make sure that if that happens, that we write Maxie and Nathan better than Jason and Sam were written, because that was not worth it.
Right.
So, love the show. Thanks for keeping me company while feeding my little boy. And yes, Faison is still alive. Maybe he's with Luke Spencer somewhere. And that's our fan, Miranda. We have done a fan spotlight with her, and we attended events with her too. And was she married yet, or was she getting married?
She's getting married.
Oh, now we have a baby. Aw. Well, glad to hear from you and that everything is going well. Aw. If you send us a picture, we won't send it to everyone else. We'll just look at it ourselves. But totally, absolutely, 1000% respect if you don't. Like,
yes.
People can be friends with me on Facebook and stuff, and they find out my kids' names, but I still don't say them on the show. So I absolutely respect privacy. I think that might be that's our only pipeline from the week. Isn't it funny how some weeks get stacked up and it's not even necessarily about that week's show?
Right. It's like struck something in everyone to say something that week. So we have like 10 of them, and then the next week there's only one.
Yep. So during last week's 411, I had an epiphany.
You did.
And so this is the first time this has ever happened. I'm just taking the recording of it and adding it as my prediction, but we're going to listen to it now so that it's a part of the show. And I just have to make sure that you can hear my audio. Can I tell you a side thought that I just had that I don't know why I didn't think about this for last week?
Sure.
Do you think Sidwell could be Faison's brother?
Oh, I actually would like that because I was not aware that he had a brother. It never occurred to me that he would have a brother.
We don't know if he does or not.
Right, but I don't know why.
But I was just thinking, I don't know why it just hit me with the whole over the speaker thing. Anna, welcome to the rest, the next part of your life. We knew it wasn't Faison. What if it's Sidwell? And what if Sidwell is related to, and what if, okay. All right, hold it. No, I'm going to take this part out. So this way, it'll be part of next week's show. So guys, we are recording this during Bobby, and somehow I spiraled. Well, because you just mentioned Faison, and that's where that went. What if Sidwell was so devastated that he lost his big brother that he took on finishing his mission, like finishing this project?
That would make sense. I love it. I 100% love it.
Okay, I have never done this before where we take a side. I feel like this is fair because this is a big prediction. This is a big prediction for me to.
You just want the credit when they say it later this week.
Well, because I also don't want to have to reiterate what I'm saying right now. Oh my gosh. What if Sidwell is Faison's brother?
I like that.
Because we haven't seen him with Liesl, right?
No.
Okay.
All right. I hope you're right.
I hope I am too, but I want Faison to be alive, but I kind of like it. And I really hope that he has his jar in a brain, or a brain in a jar.
Okay.
That would be the best reveal ever if, as Ava is setting up his new office and she's decorating it and everything, she has to move the jar with the brain.
That would be great. That would be awesome. We need to see that.
What's this?
My brother's brain.
My brother's brain.
That can be how we reveal that it's his brother.
That's what I was just saying.
Like
that would be the best reveal. Like Ava's in there decorating, and she moves the desk ornament, as we now call them, thanks to Lila or Tracy's boxes, desk ornaments, and that's his favorite paperweight is his brother's brain.
I love it.
Cool. Okay, thanks. back to this show.
To Bobby.
And I expanded upon it just a tiny bit. The reason why he's going after Sonny is because Jason killed Faison.
Yep. I love it. I hope that you're right.
I do too. I hope that if it's not, that they quickly rewrite and reshoot.
Thanks, Shannon, for doing our job.
For no pay. You're welcome. So this week's upcoming 411 is Bobby Part 11.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And it will be, how long will that be? We just finished 1999.
It should be 2000 and 2001 together because it's not, we don't need to go as in depth, but there's still a lot of Roy stuff with Luke and Sorrel and Hannah and all that stuff tossed in there and her relationship with them. So,
okay. Can't wait. So for Hulu headlines, on Monday, Sonny pleads with Michael. Chase details his plan. Portia makes a confession. Nina is pleasantly surprised. And Brook Lynn gets jarring news. On Tuesday, Emma and Gio make a horrifying discovery. Elizabeth is unsettled. Lulu opens up to Olivia. Britt panics. Michael makes an unexpected move. And Brook Lynn wants answers. On Wednesday, Jason and Britt are interrupted. Willow is stunned. Drew puts the screws to Alexis. Brook Lynn leans on Chase. And Dalton has terrible timing. On Thursday, Laura makes a sacrifice. Dante's work hits close to home. Chase and Nathan get acquainted. Britt threatens Sidwell. Molly is relieved. And on Friday, Carly is in for a shock. Britt's fears are confirmed. Trina clashes with Jordan. Justine's plan unravels. And Sidwell turns on the charm with Ava.
Where are you going?
Want to talk about how Dante is the new commissioner?
Sure.
So Dante is the new commissioner. I like that it was explained that Laura asked Mac, but he needs to be going back and forth visiting Maxie so much that he said no. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness they at least explained that because Mac always is backup.
Always.
Always.
For the past 25 years.
He was actually commissioner for a while.
Yes.
And we did cover, when we talked about the PCPD, we did the rundown of who has been police commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
So Laura appointed Dante as the police commissioner, and he hired Nathan back.
He did.
I don't feel like if you're temp, you have hiring abilities to that level. I could understand, okay, well, you can't slow down the new recruits starting police academy. If there's people graduating, you can't slow down them being sworn in. But you can't just fast track somebody coming out of a coma who needs to, although I did appreciate the fact that Nathan said that he's been working with a great therapist and like he's obviously doing all this stuff, but I still don't feel like a month is enough time for you to come back on the force for clearance. It's only been a month, right? Like it's only been
Right, and it's not like we heard Anna say, okay, it's going to take about a month to have you go through the psychological testing and do this and this, so we'll put down an expected hire date of November 15th or whatever. And so, like you said, Dante is just adhering to what was already talked about. This is just a, hey man, I like you, I miss you, you're a good partner, we share the same baseball team, so here's your badge.
I can't believe he threw Chase under the bus like that.
That was great.
Although it was funny because I love when they bring in the personalities. And he's like, oh, don't tell me he's a Sox fan. He's like, I can't even talk about it. But you know how they say it takes like half the length of a relationship to fully recover from it? I feel like the same should be said about a coma.
Right?
So if you're in a coma for 7 years, you should anticipate it's going to take 3.5, at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not going to take him 3 years to be fully functional, to be back on the force, but it's not going to take 3 weeks.
No, I don't care how good your therapist is. You're not getting fully back to normal, air quotes, in 3 weeks.
I would say 6 months, and have him start small. Have him start back on being a police officer and, working in that capacity before you throw him into being a detective.
Right. Even just some good old desk duty. Like, here you go.
Right.
Get reaccustomed to how things work around here and who's who.
Because being a detective is a promotion from a police officer, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, he should have to start back there. You know who we could have brought back? Val.
Yeah.
Could have brought her back. Could have brought back Taggart.
Yep.
There's a whole range of detectives that we could have brought back.
And it would 100% make sense if it was Taggart. And I understand if we can't bring him back because I don't know what the actor is doing right now. But why is Trina not calling him? Like, that was her dad that raised her. She's having issues with what's going on with her mom and Curtis.
Yeah.
I don't understand why she's not calling him. It would make sense that your adult child could vent to you about what's going on with her mother, even though it's about a newer relationship. Like, as an adult parent, you can be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry that your dad's having issues with his girlfriend, or that your mother and her husband are getting divorced, or whatever.
Right. So we want to switch to Trina now?
I guess so. I was actually
I don't like it.
Yeah. Very
not
disappointed. I was not a fan of her because we see her go off on Jordan this week saying that she knows that she played a part in her parents' marriage breaking up and that she had specifically asked her to stay out of it, and she went against that, and so now she's acting all like, oh, we're girl pals, but don't talk to her like that, because she's going to talk to her father, and if Curtis has to make a choice, he will choose Trina over Jordan, which is not a fair thing to say. And there's obviously more going on in that relationship than she knows, because she is not in the relationship and she is their child. So you don't understand the ins and outs of it. I was also disappointed with Stella this week.
Where did she come from? Where did that? No, we are not in the 1950s.
And how are you going to sit here and talk about how you should work things out with Portia because you didn't get to see your first child grow up, when it was Portia's fault that you didn't get to see your first child grow up?
Right. And having the second child does not make up for the first.
Right.
A baby does not save a marriage. A baby does not bring people closer together if they are already, okay, in most cases. It is very rare. It is a Hallmark movie where people are getting divorced and a baby saves them.
Right.
But that just means that they should have been working things out. It can happen. But in most cases, if you've chosen to get divorced and then find out that they're pregnant, especially in this case with the multiple lies, no. Right.
It just makes things complicated. I feel like everyone should be grateful that Curtis isn't trying to go along the lines of like Parent Trap of, you know what, you raised the first one without letting me know. I'll just take this one and kick you out of it. See how you feel not being involved in your kid's life for 18, 20 years.
Yeah. And then that's how we find out that the baby's Isaiah's.
Right. But no, it shouldn't be Isaiah's, but you're right. That's how they'll end up.
They don't do math right.
I am not very good at math, and even I can do this one, okay? It is not Isaiah's baby. But you're right. That's how it'll all come out.
They don't understand ovulation charts then, okay? Let's put it that way.
Okay, that makes sense. There's lots of people that don't, so I guess that makes sense. But I just wish they would do the story differently. Like, the fact that we can predict it this easily, how many months out, just shows, like, don't do this storyline. If your viewers know it by heart, don't go this way. Do it a different way.
It's one of the old soap tropes that it's like, no, when people are breaking up, they don't have to have a baby. When they cheat on their spouse, they don't have to get pregnant. Like, even once a year, how about we space it out? Every 5 years, we'll let them do this.
Mm-hmm.
But every single year, we have somebody getting pregnant that they're not trying to have a baby.
Maybe she can be pregnant with twins, and then it turns out one's Isaiah's and one's Curtis's.
Oh, okay. And she actually has like that whole 2 uterus thing going on.
Right.
That's happened before. It's like very not.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the soaps don't do that as often because it's so uncommon. Just anything. I mean, I obviously don't think that's really what they're going to do, but anything to shake it up a little bit, because I do not want Curtis to go through all of this. And I feel like we're going to be in the middle of another murder mystery, because if you held my kid from me for 20 some years, and then I found out we were having another kid together and I got all excited about it, and then it turned out that kid wasn't even mine after I went through this whole, oh, we're going to work things out because that's what my aunt told me you're supposed to do, I may kill you. I'm sorry. That's just no.
So it's not 2 uteruses, but if a woman releases 2 eggs during the same menstrual cycle and has sexual intercourse with 2 different men in close succession, allowing 2 different sperm to fertilize 1 egg each, it's hyperovulation.
Yes, it can be either or. There's 2 ways that happens: the double uteruses or the.
Yeah, just in case anyone's thinking Shannon reads too much National Enquirer. No, I don't. I don't know if it's going to go that far, but I also don't like how stupid they're making Isaiah. And I feel like we talked about this part, that it's just, although we did hear, was it earlier in the week, she was talking with him about he's doing a new transplant that's going to be like groundbreaking and everything. Why haven't we seen any lead up to that? Why haven't we seen him? Because I would imagine in something like this, don't they have to like petition for it, or like, write and say like why they're the ones that should be doing it and all that?
Even if they don't have to do all that, there is extensive testing that the patient has to go through before it can happen, because they want to minimize as much as they can the chance of rejection. So wouldn't we be discussing those results? Wouldn't we be telling Britt, like, hurry up and get those to me because I need to call so-and-so? There should any mention of it, and there was nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm also concerned with the way that everyone knows that Portia is pregnant simply because she cut out caffeine.
I know. I didn't drink coffee for 3 years. I was not trying to get pregnant or anything. I was just cutting back on coffee.
Yes, I also have done that several times with my Dr. Pepper, and it had nothing to do with having babies. It was just, there's too much caffeine in my life. But that was how Stella was telling Curtis.
And she's glowing. Maybe she got a new moisturizer, Stella.
Right.
Maybe she's drinking collagen instead of coffee. You ever think about that?
She is of the age that she's probably trying some new beauty products. So glad she found one that works. Yeah, I was just disappointed all the way around. I don't know what her and Trina were drinking this week, but they need to stop.
But the reason why Jordan was at the art gallery was Sidwell was there to look at the pieces, and Jordan is looking for work for her space finally.
Yes. That was kind of like its own storyline in itself, them talking. Mm-hmm. Oh, that led us to Lucas. Lucas came to the gallery to thank Ava, which was so sweet, because he had gone to Carly and Joss to tell them that he's moving in, and Carly flipped out and was like, you absolutely cannot live on Spoon Island. I will help you look for an apartment, a house, or whatever you want, but you cannot go and live there. And yeah, Lucas flipped out back and was like, you're not trusting me to make my own decisions and be an adult about this, so thanks but no thanks. And he gets up and leaves, and then goes straight to Ava and says, thanks for trusting me to make decisions on my own behalf, which I'd be so happy for him if I didn't also think it was going to be a disaster, because Spoon Island is horrible for everyone all the time.
Yeah, when Carly said that the only reason Marco is with him is because so Sidwell can get close to Sonny. No.
Yeah, she went deep, and then she went equally as deep to Joss because Joss said that she understood what Lucas was doing and why he would do that. And Carly said that she has never been so disappointed in Joss as she was right then. And then says, you above everyone else knows how dangerous Sidwell is. And Joss gets this look like, oh crap, does she know? Because she's not supposed to know.
Nope.
But I thought it was weird that Lucas... I mean, I guess Carly has to explain that she was going out of town, but Lucas is like, how was your trip? And I'm like, was she really airing that out to everyone that she was going away because she went to see Valentine's? She needs to be on the hush hush, but she explained it away as hotel business. She was looking.
Yeah, she's scouting new locations.
Yeah.
And then earlier in the week, Lucas had told Liz also that he's planning on moving in with Marco, and she kind of had a, really? You're doing that? Reaction, but not as intense as Carly.
Right. Was she who told him if he needed to get off the island quickly to call her? Because it was like she knows the ins and outs. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It was a good talk between them, but I also feel like Liz is caught in a hard place there. Like, I want to be your friend, but at the same time, you are absolutely making a bad choice. Why don't you guys look for something here?
Yeah. Except for her thing has nothing to do with Marco. It is just Windermere. It has nothing to do with Sidwell or anything like that. It's just, no.
Yeah. Windermere's just bad. Stay away from there.
Oh, I think the last thing about Portia that we missed was Felicia went and asked her if she saw Willow the night of Drew's shooting. Genius way of finding out what Portia was doing. And Portia said that she was on call, and Felicia fact-checked and said and found out that her shift had ended at 8 p.m.
Yep. Portia was stupid. So Felicia said that the reason she was asking was because, like, behind the scenes police work were asking because they're trying to solidify Willow's alibi. So you really don't think the police are going to pull up the schedule for that night just to double check everybody's information?
Right.
So.
I mean, Portia's just not smart.
Well, she can't even blame that on pregnancy brain yet, okay? You should know that the police are checking.
It's her lack of caffeine.
Oh, okay. No. Man, I guess this week was very much like their own little pods of information. It's hard to transition from one to the other.
I think the only way to really transition from there would be that Rick asked Sonny to be his lawyer so that, because he has a plan on how Sonny can keep the peers no matter what happens with Measure C.
Yeah, why is he doing that?
I don't know. I actually do think it might have something to do with Christina and Molly, because he had just left. He had just left seeing Molly at Bobby's. Oh, and Molly is no longer being the ADA for Willow's trial. She talked to Turner, and Alexis is so relieved. And instead, she is sitting at Bobby's writing her story. And so we have done 411s. Molly wrote a book called Love in Maine.
Yes.
And then what was the follow-up?
Oh, I don't know. I know Love in Maine because I just saw your book the other day, which made me, oh yeah, that's what it was.
It was Love in Maine, and then she also wrote Maine Squeeze.
Okay.
And so I'm curious to see what her book title will be this time. But I like that they're bringing this out in her, that they're bringing out her creativity and reigniting the writer. I mean, I don't want to see her lose her law stuff, but there's a ton of lawyers, doctors, super professionals that, like, that's their outlet, is that they create art. And watching her write this book based on her experiences is going to be nice.
Yeah, I hope they're making another real book for us to read.
I know, that would be great.
I like that they're developing her more, because for years she was so stuck with, I need to get straight A's, I need to take the most advanced classes, I need to be in all of these law classes, top of my class. And so it's nice that maybe she learned from all of the stuff that happened with Christina and the baby and TJ that we never talk about, that you should have somewhat of a life outside of just your career.
Yes, that's what the podcast is for me.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm curious, because then I guess now we have to go back to the beginning of the week where we had seen that, because Emma did not get the key fob. But Charlotte, okay, so I guess we have to go back even further. Ned and Gio were talking at Bobby's, And I guess Tracy went to France to a spa, to her favorite spa, to recover from everything that just happened, which I want to go with Tracy.
Right.
And Gio was so sweet. He's like, well, I can help you move the boxes. He's like, no, we found people to do that. As Ned was getting up to leave, he got a call from the movers saying that the boxes were missing. And Ned said that it's 66 Harborview Drive. It's road.
Yeah.
But Drew walks up and says that they are exactly where they're supposed to be, that he called the moving company and that I guess they're getting rerouted to his place. I can tell you, even moving companies are like next to impossible to get information on. They don't do that. They're not going to listen to you. No, they're not going to do that.
No, not for a simple phone call. You need to come in with ID and paperwork, not just, hey, can you take the contents that are supposed to go to that mansion and bring them over here to my house?
At least that is the experience that I've had clients have, that they have a heck of a time getting things together to begin with. So we're just going to leave it at that. But Ned has a heart attack. And thankfully, Emma and Gio were leaving. And Gio jumped right in and started CPR. Emma ran and got Britt. Britt takes over. They get 911. He gets to the hospital. And Charlotte, Rocco, and Danny are there. And Britt's like, oh, I don't know where my bag went. And she did ask the kids. The kids did not even offer. She asked them to go find it. So guess what they did? Charlotte took the fob. So they go to the lab during the debate. I love that the guys had a hard time swiping the fob and it just needed to be done a little bit slower and it worked for Charlotte. And so they go in and there's no animals. And then Dalton comes in and only sees Rocco. And so he grabs Rocco, brings him to Laura at the debate. Laura leaves. She's like, no, you are not. First of all, you're a civilian. You cannot arrest my grandson. You know, he didn't do anything, or you have no proof that he did anything, you know, and like they're going through all this. I was getting a little bit, she shouldn't have been so defensive. It's as simple as, you are a civilian. You cannot be arresting my grandson. Get your hands off my grandson. If there's an issue, yes, you were correct. Let's get the police who you knew were here. But she should not have been like, he didn't do anything. You don't know that, Laura.
Right.
You know, and so they go to the station.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I starting with that we had to go the whole way back there? Was it just the fact that the kids broke into the lab? I think it was.
Yeah.
But, and then while he's being taken to the station, Gio's talking to Sonny, and Danny and Charlotte go to Jason and Britt.
Yep.
And then they kind of put together, oh, you stole the fob out of Britt's old Britt put together. But she didn't say anything. She did not. She did not say anything. And I felt so bad because Rocco did this to make sure that Danny didn't get caught, because he didn't want to give Drew any more leverage against him. And even Emma, who is so hyper-focused on getting Dalton, said to the kids, like, do not continue with the plan. Go do something else, because I need to stay here with Gio. He has to be with his grandfather. And they went ahead and did it themselves, and then got caught because they were going to get caught, either all of them or one of them. So Rocco did it for them. And I love that Britt jumped to defend him and called up Sidwell and was like, yeah, tell Dalton to drop the charges. We're not doing this. That's my son. And he's like, since when did you have a son? And she's like, don't worry about it. Just drop the charges, because I do not want to see him in trouble. And then she even goes to the police station and is making sure that things go the way that they're supposed to. And it looks like they do, because Dante follows the letter of the law and is like, he's a minor. He will be released to his mother, and he'll have court in the morning to see where this goes. And then he gets to court, and Sonny, that's whenever Sonny calls Rick and is like, hey, you said you wanted to prove your loyalty? You're going to handle my grandson's case and make sure that he gets as little punishment as possible. And Rick talks to the DA, and they think they have it all worked out, that he's just going to do 6 months community service and all will be well. And then they get into court and everything changes. Yeah, it turns out that Dalton went to see Turner, and now suddenly there's proprietary information has been stolen and stuff has been destroyed. And now it's like a bigger issue. And I have a correction. Danny ran to Alexis and Jason after he was done with Jason and Britt. Like when Britt went to the hospital.
Yes.
They went to Alexis.
Yes. And that
Either
was
way.
so sweet because Danny was like saying to Alexis, well, should I turn myself in? And she
Yeah.
was like, no, that'll just make everything worse. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But yeah, they trumped up all these charges saying that he damaged property, that he stole property, and that there had been chemicals there, that if he would have released those, it would have been a public health issue, and all this stuff that absolutely did not happen. And it's because Dalton wants to get back at the way that Laura spoke to him. That didn't make any sense to me.
No, because he was embarrassed by her in front of the police when she was right. Get your hands off my grandson. You're not a cop.
Right.
And Ezra was antagonizing her and was like, you know how bad this is going to look that you're leaving the debate. And she's like, it's grandson. I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah. Everyone will understand family first.
Well, not everyone, but...
Well, everyone should understand family first. But I can't wait to see what this does between Sonny and Turner, because they had just hung out earlier. She got a flat tire. She couldn't change it. She walked to his house. Donna was there. She gave her some of her cookies and milk. And then Sonny had part of his fleet of tow trucks bring her car.
Lucky. Apparently, Sonny also owns tow trucks. This is where I'm sick, because I'm all fuzzy on stuff.
That's all right. You're good. And Donna was so cute.
Lucky's not on the show anymore, Shannon.
Lucky's not. He's not. But I wish he owned some tow trucks to come take care of everything. But yeah, so Sonny helps her out. Not even just in okay, maybe he's trying to mess with her romantically, like he's honestly interested, or mess with her romantically just to make it so that she can't put charges against him or his family, but just as like a decent person. Oh, your car broke down. Here, let me help you. And then she turns around and changes what they're charging Rocco with. It's crap.
Do you think that Dalton has something on her, that he has seen her with Sonny, and so he blackmailed her with it?
Maybe.
Because she didn't look happy about changing.
But I feel like she would have said something to Sonny ahead of time.
She didn't have time. They were all on their way, and she was on her way to the courthouse when Dalton stopped her.
I guess. I don't know.
But Nathan was letting Rocco out of his cuffs to talk to Lulu, and you see Charlotte looking through the window. So I definitely was waiting for Nathan to come out of that room and have the Nathan-Charlotte moment, and it didn't happen.
Nope. No, there was no moment. Yeah. Well, I also am confused. Okay, so Dalton can obviously be a bad guy, and Ezra's obviously a bad guy. But the other police officers that were standing there, and Martin was standing there, Laura said, oh, did he break something? Did he damage something? Like, what happened? Right. And Dalton never said anything about that. And she mentioned that to Sonny. She was like, no, our grandson's 100% being set up, because if anything bad would have happened, he would have been screaming that at me whenever he was handing Rocco over to me. And instead, it was just the fact that Rocco broke in, and he didn't really even break in because he had a key fob. He didn't even mess up your door, man. Like, come on.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel bad.
Well, and those other police officers are going to have to testify.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is they should testify. No, she's correct. He didn't say anything was wrong. So, and it's one thing if they would have just said that he stole proprietary information, because that's something that you wouldn't notice until you logged onto your computer and saw that a copy was made. But as far as damaging stuff, yeah, you would have noticed that whenever you walked in the office.
Yeah.
He hadn't broken anything. So, I don't know. I felt bad for Rick. He's like, I thought I had this case handled. It was just going to be a quick 5-minute hearing, and we were going to be out the door. And now Rocco's being taken away for the next few nights until they can set a bail hearing.
Yep. I can't believe they're putting Rocco in jail.
Yeah.
Poor kid. I think the only other thing with that group of people, at least kind of all together, back to Britt. She's the one who saved Ned. And when they got to the hospital, kind of shared the truth about what was happening, because Portia wasn't. And she was definitely annoying Portia. And I did like when they took Ned into the room, Liz said, this is nothing against you. You're not a doctor yet.
Right.
And she even said yet.
Yes, she was not being mean at all. But I don't understand what Portia was doing. We're going to wait and get more imaging. And Britt's like, The thing that he had is literally called a widowmaker. Like, let's not stand around and wait. Go ahead and do what you're supposed to be doing. And she's like, I think I need a few more scans. We wouldn't want to do something unnecessarily. If it's between saving him or letting him die, yeah, just take that chance. It's okay.
Right.
But I loved the fact that then Gio kept calling him grandpa and talking about Ned needed to be okay. And Brook Lynn thanked him. She like mouthed the words thank you over to Gio whenever she hadn't realized that he had performed CPR at first. She thought that it was just Britt. Yep. And then they explained it more and she mouthed over thank you. So that makes me all squishy. I'm glad that they're building that relationship up slowly.
I get weird feelings and thoughts when it comes to the sudden calling of the name, though, because it's not like, I don't know. I don't know that I would suddenly start calling someone grandpa.
I don't know that I would suddenly start calling someone grandpa, except for he's had multiple conversations with Ned about Ned not trying to push him. Ned saying, like, you're welcome at the house anytime, but we're going to go at your pace, whatever you think, whatever you feel. And so I think it's just the fact that he's overcome with emotion at that moment and that he is kind of softening up to what does this family mean to me.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know that he's going to call him grandpa, like, to his face after Ned comes out of this. More like that's my grandpa that's in there being sick.
Not like how the kids, they call JD, but they refer to him as their dad.
Yeah.
And that just, nothing traumatic happened that caused that. It just happened over time.
Right. So, yeah, I think that'll be probably where Gio stands for a while. But, yeah, that made me happy.
And then the only other thing that we really have is the whole Willow stuff. Chase was showing Willow pictures of Amelia that she drew, and Alexis shows up and is like, you are here way too much. And he says that he's been doing his own investigating out of work hours. He's looking into Jacinda to see if her alibi lines up. And then at the same time, Brook Lynn and Dante are talking at the mansion. And Dante's like, so we get notified every time Willow gets a visitor. And do you know how many times your husband has gone to see her?
Yep.
And that causes a bit of a fight because he is getting too involved. And she even said, yeah, I was all for you helping her and being supportive of her, but you basically taking this on yourself to, exonerate her.
Right.
It's kind of messed up.
Right. Especially whenever your only option at this point is to point the finger at Michael. Like you can be supportive of Willow without trying to get my cousin put in prison.
Yep. And Sonny had been talking to Michael about finding someone else with a motive to shoot Drew. And Alexis, was that this week or was that last week that Alexis and Drew were talking? I know they talked last week, but did they talk this week too?
Yeah, because she was like this week because he was dodging on the case.
Yes. And she was kind of dodging. She was answering correctly, but she was not. He doesn't know what she's talking about because she's like, yes, I am going to introduce an alternative theory.
Right. And then finally it clicked with him and he was like, no, the only thing you should be doing is saying Willow didn't do it and Michael did. And here's why. And she was like, okay, I have one chance to get her acquitted, or we can focus on Michael and presenting either or. If they don't believe that it's Michael, you just sentenced Willow to prison for life. Like, you need to get your priorities together. It should be about getting Willow out, and then we can focus on Michael. And that's whenever he said, well, I'm going to have Martin come and work with you. And she was like, okay, cool. Martin's going to work on the whole Michael did it. And I'm going to stay over here focusing on Willow because I'm not working with Martin. No one tells me how to run my defense.
Yep. And Drew had intimidated Jacinda when he went to go visit Nina. He's like, he said to Nina, I thought that you had bought her off to get her to quit. And she's like, no, Michael, she's staying. And he talks to Nina about having to basically get everything put back on Michael and how to use Jacinda against him. And so she's like, well, no, we're going to let them get together. And, then we're going to, send the pictures and videos and like, what's it going to look like if he's allowing his children around this woman? And so she shows up to the Metro Court as they are having dinner and with Wiley, right at her.
Exactly. I loved Michael for this because
it was the best.
She called she had Jacinda call Michael in after Drew left and was like,
Yes.
I want to see Wiley. I want to see my grandkids. So I don't know why she didn't have Amelia, but I want to see Wiley. And she was fully expecting him to say no and be a jerk about it. And he was like, hey, the only thing we disagree on is your daughter. My kids obviously love you. So sure, you can go ahead. So for her to then turn around and try to trap him in a compromising position with Wiley there, you got everything you deserve there, Nina.
Yeah, she tried to set it up that it was going to be awkward for Michael to be introducing. And he's like, well, no, this is your grandma Nina's assistant,
Right.
Jacinda, and we are friends. And then they stepped over to the side. And then when they came back, he's like, hey, Wiley, your grandma Nina wants a picture of us.
That was beautiful. It was beautiful. Because, yeah, she threatened everything with the court. And he was like, the court isn't going to matter because Willow's going to be in jail for life for shooting Drew. So there is no custody, anything. Just let it go. But I loved the way he was like, Grandma wants a picture. Everyone smile.
And then we see that Willow was released.
Mm-hmm.
And she came over to the table after Nina had left. Wiley was still there. And Wiley just introduced them. And she's like, oh, I know Jacinda, but I'm not used to seeing her with so many clothes on. Who's the one having the inappropriate conversation around the kids?
Right. Yeah, that definitely did not win her any points. And good for Michael for not being like, oh, kind of like you whenever you're around Uncle Drew and your clothes just fall off. Like, come on.
Right. Well, and then she went to Drew and she was spiraling and he's just backing up the spiral.
Mm-hmm. He just keeps feeding her lines that I don't understand why. I mean, I get wanting to grasp at straws, but why she just keeps putting so much faith in him. Like everything he has said that he was going to do for you, he has not done. You lost your kids. You didn't get the stuff that you thought you were going to. You got put in prison for shooting him. Why are you still calling him? Like he's not the man. The fact he's a congressman is not giving him the power that he's telling you it's going to give him because you still end up with the short end of the stick. Like, what's going on? But yeah, he tells her that this will just be better proof for in court. They're going to show that Michael is the unfit parent. And he says, the same thing that Alexa said, but basically the opposite of it's not going to, or that Michael said, it's not going to matter because Michael will be in prison. So she'll have the kids and that'll be that.
Yep. It was kind of a very compact week. I don't think we're missing anything. Oh, Marco was at Rocco's hearing spying for Sidwell. And he went to Sidwell and said things are worse than we thought. What does that mean?
Yeah. I'm guessing the fact that Dalton made up all that stuff, like maybe they thought they had a connection where they could just lose his paperwork or whatever to get it tossed out. And now that's not going to happen. Or the fact that Dalton is just like a loose cannon.
He's going rogue.
Yeah. Sidwell's supposed to be in charge. And first he approached Britt about just the two of them working together. And now Sidwell gave him a direct order. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to make sure that this kid gets punished.
Yeah. Why do we hate kids so much on the show?
I don't know. And the fact that he is a minor, like that should be playing in somewhere, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
And his first offense, like...
Oh, but it's not because, remember, the underage...
But even Rick said no charges were brought then.
Right.
And she's like, Turner's like, well, maybe that's the problem is he didn't suffer any consequences the first time, so he thinks he can just do whatever he wants now. No, one was a stupid teenage mistake, and the other was definitely more serious as far as the intent behind it. He
almost died from his teenage mistake. I think that he learned his lesson.
Right. But I mean, even then, he didn't intend to drink that much and to end up being on the verge of death. He made the decision to break into this lab. So yeah, it's definitely worse. But they didn't go and break everything. They didn't steal things. Like, it's just ridiculous. I don't know how they're bringing all that up now whenever they didn't have it originally.
Yeah.
I had to agree with Rick, as much as it pains me to ever agree with Rick. Like, where was this evidence? Why was this not brought to our attention ahead of time? And how do you get to switch it up at the last minute without giving us fair time to look at it?
I don't know. It's
not fair. Well, I mean, the judge said you'll have time before the hearing. This isn't the hearing. So that explained it away. But I felt bad for poor Rocco.
And especially where his father is now the acting police commissioner, and his grandmother is the mayor.
Did you see Lulu put her head on Dante's shoulder when they hauled him away?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, they were like standing next to each other, and then as Rocco walked away, she put her head on his shoulder like, no, it's not time to put them. This is not what is bringing them together, okay? Our son being arrested is not sparking romantic feelings. So stop.
No. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so. It was a lot. It was a lot of little pieces, but it was a lot.
Reality check.
What'd you do this week?
Nothing as exciting as what you did this week. Trying to think. I really don't think I did anything as sad and pathetic as that is. It was just like the regular run-of-the-mill work, school for Madeline, dance stuff. Oh, Madeline had a birthday party to go to on Wednesday. I'm thinking I did go, not that it was exciting for me, but I did go somewhere. She had a birthday party to go to on Wednesday at the local Jumpy Park. So that was nice. She had a fun time, and we'd spent an hour and a half in Target for her putting together the perfect basket of stuff to give her friend. So I don't know. I'm not ready. Everyone keeps talking about Christmas as much as you yelled at me for rushing it last week. Everyone keeps talking about Christmas this week, and I am not ready. Like, my brain is not there. So that's where I'm
definitely not there.
And Madeline's birthday comes before that, so I'm really not there. I just need I need to win the lottery and then someone take over all my shopping duties because I have no idea what I'm buying anyone. So, yeah, I'm pretty boring. But how about you? What did you do this week?
I got sick. Yay!
No, before you got sick.
I know we say this like every single time, but it's like we have weeks that nothing happens. And then we have weeks like this week where we had the Chamber Cash Bash on Thursday. So JD and I got like a work date night. Wednesday, and then earlier in the day, Thursday, was my office's Friendsgiving. And so my daughter came to that. And because our offices are merging, it was like both offices having Friendsgiving together. So that was fun. And then Wednesday, I was dead exhausted because the night before we had been at Paul McCartney.
Yay.
So good. We surprised the kids. And okay, so it's still not a Christmassy thing, but like that's their major Christmas present. And I straight up told them exactly how much it cost. I said, so we are basically not doing hardly anything for Christmas because that's even more than we typically spend on Christmas. But it's Paul McCartney. And he started at like 8:15. He played for 2 hours straight himself, over 2 hours straight, just himself. He goes between the guitar and the piano. I mean, he has his band, but like there's no opening act. It's just him and his band. He stopped for maybe 2 minutes, and then came back and did an encore of like 6 more songs. So it was like almost 3 hours total. He's 83 years old. Like, yeah, that was more of, not like I have to justify it, but we were like, we are definitely taking the kids to see him because he's 83.
Right. This is not going to come along again, most likely.
I mean, it could, but we don't want to chance it. So,
right.
Because the tickets went on sale shortly after we got back from Boston. I think, okay, maybe not shortly after, like a month after, but that's when, like Brian Wilson died and, all these singers in their early 80s are dying. And I was like, nope, we are going to see Paul. And JD and I had gone to see him. He opened up when PPG opened up. So, yeah, he puts on such a great show. It really is so worth it. The ticket prices are kind of insane, but so worth it. Okay, in my opinion, they're insane, but I paid it. And we were 3 rows from the top. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're Taylor Swift insane. I actually didn't look, but yeah, if I won the lottery, we would definitely be getting like club seats for them. But there's not a bad seat in that house. So it was good. And my daughter fell asleep for a little bit while Let It Be was playing. And she just put her head on my shoulder. And I'm just sitting there like, my daughter is laying on my shoulder, sleeping. And Paul McCartney is right in front of us singing Let It Be. She woke up quickly.
I'm sure.
But yeah. But no, it was so much fun. It was worth it. And they had no idea. So we surprised them with that.
That's awesome.
But yeah. So that was it. Join us on Thursday as we keep talking about Bobby, part 11, 2000 and 2001.
Yep. So have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.